Good afternoon, everybody. I realize I'm one of the last talks between you and happy hour, so I'll try to keep this interesting and on time. A little bit about me. I'm formerly, before I joined the team at HAPPE Spine, I was a co-founder at Globus Medical, where I ran all of product development, global product development, and launched over 200 products during my tenure there. One of my chief responsibilities was assessing new technology and seeing who we would want to partner with or potentially acquire. And we're always looking out for technologies that could address core problems in orthopedic devices and really have more of a platform type of application. And I believe HAPPE is that and fits that bill. So a little bit about us. Our mission is to improve clinical outcomes in orthopedic implants with a proprietary biomaterial platform. And the secret sauce to HAPPE is really in our name. HAPPE stands for HydroxyApatite Porous PEEK. Our current status, we have a commercially cleared product, 510(k) cleared, called Integrate C. It's an ACDF device for the cervical spine. Integrate means to bring two components together, and we feel that's an appropriate name for this device. We have ongoing commercialization. We've had positive early clinical outcomes. Our production process is protected and scalable, and we have additional products in our pipeline. As I mentioned, a very strong patent portfolio protecting both design and manufacturing. I think that's critical. We have an extremely experienced management team and a large TAM to go after. So speaking of that, the market that we want to address is primarily in spine, currently valued at $2.5 billion in the inner body fusion space, but there are applications in trauma and in sports med as well. So what is an inner body fusion? It's probably a little bit of a review for many of you, but it's a procedure used to relieve pain by fusing adjacent vertebrae together. That's really what the surgeon is trying to do. There's about 850,000 of these procedures done each year, but there are many problems associated with these procedures. Multi-level procedures can have a pseudarthrosis or non-fusion rate of over 30%. And this can cause further complications, additional surgeries, breakdown of additional segments. So it is a big problem. So what is the clinical goal of orthopedic surgery? Many times it's to facilitate healing with stable fixation between the bone and the implant. And we feel that there's four major components that an implant, or characteristics that an implant needs to have. One, we want biologic fixation by bone ingrowth, really growing into the implant, or osteointegration. Next is hydrophilic and cell-friendly surfaces. We want it to be radiolucent for postoperative assessment of healing, and we want it to have optimal biomechanical properties for load sharing. The problem is that current biomaterials are unable to meet all of these criteria. The two major alternatives for materials available today are PEEK and titanium. PEEK is not a great material. It has more of a hydrophobic nature to it, so it repels liquids, and currently doesn't have the ability to have ingrowth. But it is radiolucent and has a modulus of elasticity closer to native bone. Titanium, conversely, is much more friendly to bone on-growth, and 3D printing designs enable ingrowth, but it's not radiolucent, so it's difficult to assess postoperative fusion. And it is much stiffer than native bone. This is, you can see in these images, examples of the shortfalls that they have. On the left, you have titanium, where it's showing some subsidence, as well as poor image quality. And on the right is PEEK, where you can see some evidence of non-bone interaction, and this also can lead to subsidence as there may be modic changes in the implant. Our solution is HydroxyApatite Porous PEEK. So we have interconnected cancellous porosity for bone ingrowth. This is the proprietary part of our product. We have exposed hydroxyapatite for hydrophilic and cell-friendly surfaces. It is radiolucent due to its PEEK nature, and we've optimized the implant design by versatile placement of dense and porous material. So this is how it works. You can see here in the upper left, the porosity absorbs autogenous blood and proteins. This is the primary step of bone growth. You need blood. And you can see this picture from an intraoperative image that the implant is actually starting to soak up that blood. Down in the lower right, you see a slide of our material, our porous material versus native bone. the porosity mimics almost exactly the properties of human bone. It's 99% interconnected, so there's not any voids or holes. It is 75% by volume, and the pore size is exactly similar to native bone. To that, we add HydroxyApatite. HydroxyApatite is a critical component of bone growth. It makes up about 50% of native bone. Our HydroxyApatite particles are firmly embedded in the peak. This is not a spray, it's not a coating. It's not going to dissolve. The HydroxyApatite adsorbs the osteogenic proteins. This material loves proteins, and it guides the bone-forming cells. We've done research that shows we have a 4-time greater adsorption rate with our material as opposed to regular PEEK. So you combine these two things and you get bone ingrowth, which we've validated in an ovine preclinical model. The slide that you see on the right is a histology slice, where the pink is the bone. There's evidence of osteoclasts starting to integrate with the light brown section, which is actually the porous section of our implant. So over a 12-week period, we showed that there's up to and even greater than a 1 millimeter portion of ingrowth into the porosity. So again, we're going to create a stable fixation with this implant. We did our first in man late last year. We're already starting to see bone integration even over 3 months. Dr. Stephen Smith was the surgeon who performed the surgery. HAPPE is both spine and surgeon friendly. It is biologically compatible, strong, and radiographically informative. Our commercialization highlights, we've done about 50 patients so far, over 100 implants. We are getting a premium price for this device. Typically, an ACDF spacer is anywhere from $800 to $1,000. We're getting upwards of $1,450 while having similar COGS to normal PEEK devices. We do deliver this sterile pack, so it does make it easier from a logistics standpoint in the OR. We're doing multi-level cases. Again, that's where a lot of the problems occur with standard devices. We did win an award for Best New Technology, and we have a national network of distributors. Again, this is a platform. We have multiple products that we're going to be working on in the lumbar inner body space where we can command even higher ASPs, but there are designs for trauma and in sports medicine. We have an extremely experienced leadership team. Dr. Ryan Rader is the inventor and founder. No one knows more about PEEK than Dr. Rader. He's well published and has multiple experiences in manufacturing. Doug is our head of engineering, and Jenna does operations and finance. Luke is our commercialization lead and has an extensive network of both surgeons and distributors. To that, we join our board of directors. Stephen Foster is the CEO of Tenon Medical currently, although a longtime Medtronic executive. Brian McCollum, COO of Health Concept Partners and was a CFO at Orthofix. We have a really top-rate clinical advisory team, spans from coast to coast, from academic to private practice. Many of these gentlemen have been on the podium many times and are well known in the industry. We have raised to date a little over $9 million. We did a seed funding in 2018. Our Series A was led by Genesis Innovations and the Cultivate Fund. We are currently opening another Series A1, $4 million. This will go to product development, continued commercialization and scale up, and more manufacturing capability. We will reach well over $1 million this year, and we expect to be at $10 million in 2026 with the addition of newly launched products. So why HAPPE Spine? Enabling platform technology. I really feel that this is going to solve a lot of problems in the spine and ortho space. We've proven that we can get a product to market. We have a proven 510(k) regulatory path for future products, and we've got a great team. So we'd love to, if you're interested to hear more, we'd love to hear from you and see how you can get involved with HAPPE Spine. So thank you very much.